Hey, Alexus, beauties and flawless man. Welcome back to another podcast episode. We're going to have a raw and uncut conversation. Please do not let these people play on your top, right? And I want to be very sensitive when we have this conversation, but it's got to be said. So hopefully you can hear this with an open mind and an open heart, especially if you might be experiencing some of these things. But I want to tell you all what I have been noticing. Bitterness is bitterness. It doesn't matter the mental state. It doesn't matter the physical state. And it definitely doesn't matter the spiritual state that someone is in. If they're bitter, they're always going to be bitter. It doesn't matter if someone has a disability. I'm saying this because I have seen this about 2-3 times too many in my life. What happens is sometimes people are upset about the lack thereof that they may have been blessed with, because it is a blessing. And then what they do is they know how to manipulate. Come on, Jesus. Who Jesus? Because the devil does not have a respecter of person. He doesn't matter what state you're in. He's going to use you if you allow him to use you. And what I'm realizing is we do have some people that may have a disability or some type of illness, and they still will play on your top out of the role of sympathy or out of the role of manipulation or out of what it is that they want, simply because they're just still a human at the end of the day. Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, there's a certain type of person with a certain type of illness and a certain type of ability or disability that will still play in your face. And I want us to still guard our heart, because that's what we were told to do. Be careful of the sad stories. Man, like I said, this probably gonna be deep. A lot of the times we connect with people, we're trauma bonding because we have the same relatable experience that we lived in life. But when we look at these situations, if we begin to think more logical and not emotion, we'll see that both of these people have been trauma bonded. Both of these people have been through things, and this person chooses to be evil or let that evil overtake them when this other person is not having any excuses. The one thing that I've realized and I noticed with these people is it's like, some of these people, they will be the manipulative of this population. They will be wise enough to know when to keep certain things and when to not say certain things and to do certain things. But then it's like they use their inabilities to get what they want. And that's not fair, because it doesn't matter what you're going through in life. Manipulation is manipulation, narcissistic, and a liar is a liar. Alexus Love Beauties and Flawless Man, the conclusion of this podcast, the purpose of this podcast is to don't be afraid of anyone, but to know that the devil is coming to steal, kill, and destroy. And it doesn't matter if someone has a disability or not. It doesn't matter if someone is an elder or not. These are some of the people that he's using, just as well as 100% same person. He's using that person also. We have to protect ourselves. I've seen this, like I said, 2-3 times too many, and I'm literally seeing it 3 times, to where people come and they try to manipulate me and play on my top because they know I have a good heart, and they're seeing the different things I'm doing. And then when they want to do bad or they want to do evil, they say, oh, well, man, don't forget that I'm disabled. Don't forget that I'm sick. But they're not forgetting that in the midst of them lying, cheating, stealing, abusing, and I'm hearing psychological distancing. Maybe that's for me, or maybe that's for somebody. But what that means, since it came out on this podcast, is psychological distancing is when you know you're about to get ready to cut a relationship off. It starts in the mind first. So it's something that's going on in your mind to where you're like, I'm about to distance from this person. So you thought about it first. So you're distancing yourself from them in your mind before the physical happens. And when you learn how to psychological distance, you breaking off and detaching from anybody is going to become a piece of cake. But back to the purpose at hand. I don't know where that came from, but maybe that's for me. I need to psychological begin that process, or maybe you need to begin that process. But in conclusion, and I know this kind of like all over the place, we're going to come back with structure because I've been thinking about this for 2 or 3 days. So this is why I'm dropping it raw and uncut, but I want us to come back with structure too, so we can break this down. And I will give you more in-depth examples, because it's not fair for somebody to try to use their disability, their inability to still lie and manipulate and get what it is that they want. And it's happening out here. So in conclusion, just for this part 1, I just want you to keep your eyes peeled. Be sure to listen to that podcast about the elders too. You know, people are learning how to use the problems that they have to get what it is that they want. And they're able to get what they want because we're thinking out of our emotion when we're dealing with these people. Like, oh my God, they are just so, and not saying that they're not, but we can't be deceived by these people and their behaviors. And I'm starting to question, because it'll be like, just as well as somebody will say something about me, they'll be like, well, how was you smart enough to notice? And not? There is parts and times in a person's life where I believe we generally do not know. Like, we just don't know. That was an honest mistake. But it's the difference between somebody knowing it's not a mistake and are doing it on purpose. So we're going to come back with the part 2 of how we can identify when people are playing in our face that is ill, that's older, versus somebody that's really not playing in our face and they really don't know. But I want us to keep our eyes out, because I keep on seeing this. This is why we keep on bringing it up. I'm seeing it with the elders. I'm seeing it with people that saying they young and they don't know. I'm seeing it with people that saying, oh, I'm disabled or I'm sick and I don't know. But in these people's heart, they'll still be bitter. I've seen it with people on their deathbed and they're still bitter. They don't care about their life. They're still talking about people even on their deathbed. That's how you know that that's the type of person that's how you identify them versus somebody that's really genuinely, they're really experiencing their illness versus somebody that's trying to play in your face. Because how is you going through something so detrimental to your life and health like this, and you still lying? And you still cheating, and you still manipulating people. So we're not about to let nobody play on our heart. We're learning about emotion and logic. We have to think more logic. And this is where we're able to maneuver in this world, because this is all of this emotion. All of this is just moving off of energy. We have to just keep our eyes peeled and not be easily deceived by nobody. Even the children are deceiving. Like I'm telling y'all, this is because it's a learned thing. It's a taught thing, and no one is getting corrected. So they're going through, and then people are knowing how to manipulate you with the good heart. They're knowing how to manipulate because they're saying, hey, this person's going to feel bad for me because this, that, and the third. When you have things that somebody can feel bad for you for, but you're continuing to go forward. Life is not about feeling bad for each other or who had it the worst. It's about actually getting to a place to where we're able to heal those wounds and don't have any excuses. So Alexus, love, beauties, and flawless man, I pray that you have found something at least interesting to say, oh, you know what, let me look at that, or something, or maybe you've thought the same way. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to come back with more structure. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about elders. And I want to talk about people playing in your face, but then using their other inabilities to actually manipulate you, because that's not fair. We are going to continue to talk about emotion versus logic. We're going to think more realistic versus not so much in our feelings. And this is what is going to separate us from the rest of the world, because we're going to know how to be disciplined. I love you.